And I am the Career Connectors founder and CEO. And yes, we are recording this call today, and so that you have access to it later. So welcome. The first thing I'd like you all to do is look down at the bottom of your screen and find the icon that says chat, and click on that chat box. And I would love if you could just drop in the chat where you're calling in from. I know a couple of you have started that. Let us know where you're calling in from. Maybe let us know what kind of position you're looking for. And we would love to see kind of where people are calling in from today. And we know we usually have people on the call from all over the place. And so yes, Justin is our keynote today, and he is calling in from Salt Lake City. Thanks, Justin. I am in Chandler, Arizona. And so just let us know where you're calling in from. And then the other thing I'm going to have you guys do today is eventually or when you get a chance, I would love for you to go out and grab your LinkedIn URL. And that is a way that all of us can connect with each other. And because we're not in person right now, which hopefully sometime this year, we will get back in person, at least in the Phoenix area, and then hopefully outside of the Phoenix area as well, as we're on a mission to grow this year and serve even more people. But, oh, great, Giovanna, yep, is in Oregon. That's awesome. And so we are just really excited about today. You guys, we have a phenomenal event. And thanks, Justin. That's how I would love for you all to drop your LinkedIn profiles in here as well. So Erin, if you can move on to the next slide. I want to go over a couple things here with you guys before we get started. And so I wanted to let you know this year we have updated our mission and vision. We really have a phenomenal board that is really taking us places, and we have updated all of our mission and vision and values. And so I just wanted you guys to see that we're all about building a better community, one organization and one career at a time. And so our goal and our mission is really to elevate communities by empowering job seekers, employers, and service providers. And so we have different ways we do that, but we are on a mission to serve 1 million people in the next 5 years. And so thank you all for being part of that. And our other goal and intention is to grow to 15 states. And so we obviously are virtual and we can serve everybody right now, but we want to be planted in 15 states and be able to do live events as well. So great job. Look at all of you writing in here where you're calling in from. That's great. We're going to use the chat a lot today because it's one of the ways that we can engage with you all. So Erin, if you could go on to the next slide, and one more. And so I wanted you to see on that chat, you're connecting, you can ask questions on that chat.
So what were you saying?
I just think I'll give these to
let's see, somebody is
know why.
on mute. Let me grab it. Okay, we got it. So if on that chat, you can engage in questions as our keynote speakers, as our hiring companies are talking. If you have questions for them, please feel free to drop your questions in there. And if the speaker doesn't answer, then there'll be a time when either I'm able to ask the question to them when they break in their talk, or they'll be engaging in the chat as well, and eventually we'll answer your questions. So ask away in there. Also, you can control the look and the feel of the event today. The best way to view this is typically in speaker view. And so on your screen, if you go to the top right-hand corner, you will see a view option. And if you click on side-by-side speaker, that will give you who is speaking and then the presentation next to it. So that's the view most people like during the talks. And then let's see, at the end of the call, so around 10:30, we have what's called breakout rooms. And so breakout rooms are a time when you can go and speak directly to the speakers that are here today. And then also we have some resume writers, a LinkedIn coach, a finance coach. And so if you would like to go talk to them about your resume and how you get it through the applicant tracking system, or some verbiage that you need changed, or if you want them, someone to take a look at your LinkedIn profile and give you some guidance there, absolutely. We would go ahead, wait till the end of the call, and you can meet with them directly in one-on-one. Also, on the next slide, you'll see that we have closed captioning available. And so if you would like that, just click on that icon in the call today, and the live transcription will come up for you. So if anyone needs that, we would love that. One other thing, you can go to the next slide, Erin, but I was thinking about, I've been doing a lot of thinking and praying about, have you all heard about, do you have a focus word of the year? Do you have a key word of the year, that something that you focus on? And so I wanted to quickly tell you guys my story about this. So it's been weeks. I haven't been able to come up with one. And so yesterday, finally, it came to me that my word is going to be gratitude for this year. So there's so many things to be grateful for. I personally had a pretty tough year last year, and I know there were many people that did as well. And so I just realized, I remembered every time I'm grateful for something, it's positive. It turns things around. And so I even remember way back in the day, 12 years ago, when I started this organization, my husband and I were in the midst of job loss, and we were not working. And I started volunteering. And I just remember, like, any moments throughout the last 12 years that I have been able to turn something into being grateful for that. It's just been turned into a really positive experience. And so I would love for you, if you have a focus word, if you came up with one, if you could drop that in the chat. I would love to see what some of your focus words are this year. Some people call it word of the year, focus words, target words, things like that. So if you have one, service, Angela put service. That's a phenomenal one. And it's so good, because when especially if you, Angela, if you are currently in transition or looking for a new job, I love that word, because I know that, and as most of us do, when we're serving somebody, it just puts us in a great mood. It just tugs at our hearts. And so it just does good things for us. And so always be trying to be in service to other people. Justin, yours is connection. You're such a great connector. That's awesome. So agile, love it, Roger. You work at 1 a.m. So I'm sure you need to really be flexible and agile to be able to work the hours you need to work. I love that word. So again, welcome. We're so glad you guys are here. Here's our agenda today. You are going to hear from the one and only Justin Jones, a champion's approach to career uncertainty. And then we have 3 phenomenal hiring companies today. The Phoenix Suns are here. MSR FSR, which is an engineering firm, is here today. And CVS Health is here, and they're growing hugely and have a ton of jobs, all kinds of jobs available. And so I will close it out at 10:30. And then right around that time, we will go into our breakout rooms, and then the event will close right around 11:30 today. All right, I am excited to introduce you guys all to Justin Jones. Justin likes nothing more than hearing his clients say, "I got the job." Affectionately known as Job Coach Justin, he is naturally skilled at helping people recognize and communicate their inherent value. Over the past 20 years, he has literally helped thousands of individuals find meaningful work. Justin is a dynamic public speaker, facilitator, and career coach. He currently directs a team of career mentors at Brigham Young University's Career Studio. Justin has been a friend of Career Connectors since we launched back in 2009, and I am honored to say he's a friend. I call him my brother from another mother. Love you, Justin. Welcome to our event today.
Oh, thank you so much. Can everybody hear me okay? Can I get a thumbs up?
Gotcha.
And could I see some faces? I'm seeing, all these names, Shelly, Sonia, Connie. But hey, could I at least see your face for a minute? That would make things so much nicer, especially since my year, the word for the year is connection, and I can connect to your names, but I can connect to your faces so much easier. So if you don't mind putting yourself on camera. Now, I know some of you are still in your bunny slippers and maybe sitting in your bed, which is totally fine. You can only just show us your face for a second. But there we go. Mary Beth, happy to see you. And there's Christy, so happy to see all of you. Debbie, and all of you tuning in. So yes, it is true. I have been a fan of Career Connectors for many, many years. Who knew that 2008, when Intel told Jessica that her services were no longer needed, that God had such a huge work ahead of her. And I am just really grateful to be a part of it and grateful to be here today. So if you don't mind, let's just jump in. We're talking about uncertainty. Every single one of you has had uncertainty abounding in, if there's anything that was abundant in 2021, it was uncertainty. And it kind of looks like 2022 is doing the same thing for us. However, we're going to focus on what are some things from the field of sports psychology that will help us with dealing with uncertainty. And I want you to think about sports psychology. I have this champion mindset image from the Olympics. It's winter here in Utah, and although it's 30 degrees here, I know many of you are enjoying a much sunnier day today. However, there was a time when I was looking at job postings and I saw a job posting and I said to myself, this has my name written all over it. Has anybody out there had that experience? You can just do a thumbs up or put a yes in the chat where you read a job description and you're like, that job is for me. Well, that was a number of years ago, and I just want you to know that I did everything in my power to make sure that I received that job. And that job was to work for the 2002 Salt Lake Organizing Committee for the 2002 Winter Olympics. So I am an Olympics junkie. In fact, I told my wife when we got married, I do not follow any specific sports team. I will not spend all day Saturday, Sunday watching sports. But for 18 days, every few years, I am literally planted in front of the television watching every Olympic sport that can be. I love the Olympics so much. And so I just want to talk to you a little bit about my experience with the Olympics, my experience with the 2002 Winter Olympics, and what I've learned from so many champions at participating in those Olympics. I'm really excited. Just this weekend, Nathan Chen from Salt Lake City represented the Salt Lake Figure Skating Club and took the national title for the sixth time and has just become the US's Olympic hopeful for men's figure skating. So, with that, I want to tell you another little story. Let's move to the next slide. So, when I graduated from college, which was a while ago, I'm actually about to graduate again in April with my master's in public administration. But the first time I graduated with my undergraduate degree in communication, I had no idea what I was going to do. And the very first job that I landed, which reminds me I need to finish my other story, but the very first job I landed out of college was a junior Olympic bobsled coach for the junior Olympic team in Park City, Utah. I knew nothing about bobsled. I don't even know, I do know how I got the job. It's called networking. You might have heard of it. My best friend in college was the junior Olympic bobsled coach, and he said, come work for me until you figure out what else you're going to do. So this was prior to the 2002 Winter Olympics. I graduated in 1998 and quickly learned the mindset of champions who were 16 and 17 years old, these junior Olympians, preparing to become Olympians. And the bobsled track is, wow, one incredibly dangerous place. I don't know if any of you have had the chance to see one of those. There aren't a lot of them in the United States, but you can go to New York or you can come to Park City, Utah and see that. But what was really interesting is that we as humans were allowing 16 and 17-year-olds to commandeer, they barely just had driver's licenses, and here they are driving these bobsleds and moving at G-force speeds that would literally make your head spin. And here I was trying to help assist them in their Olympic dreams. But one of the things that I want you to know about from sports psychology is a number of years ago, Nick Saban, who was coaching football at the college level, was really interested in not fixing his players, but he really wanted to know, how do we make our best players better? And that's really where the field of sports psychology was had its birth, is how do we make something great even better? And so when I think of every single one of you, and you've listed where you're coming to us from, and you're listing skills that you have, I would love for you to list in the chat just right now, What is one thing that you are great at? And it may be job related, it may be communication related. I'm not sure, but I would love for you to start out this moment with a champion mindset. And that would be telling everyone in this room, what is something that you are great at? I'm hoping some of you are great at baking because I could really use some sweets right about now. But just take a look at that. And I'm not seeing anything in the chat yet. Not a baker, just I knew that part. Amazing listener, resilient, and oh, Angela, can I talk about resiliency for a second? I'm so glad that you put that resilience and resourceful. When we talk about anxiety or we talk about uncertainty, which leads to anxiety, there's so many things that are outside of our control. COVID-19, outside of our control. Depending on where you are in the country and who you work for, vaccination outside of your control. Whether your children are in school or not, or doing remote, outside of your control. And so when we think about uncertainty, it's pain, it's discomfort, it could be difficulty, and really your response. So the impetus, whatever it is, and then plus your response really is what builds the outcome. And what I think about when I think of these champions that I have worked with is their response to negative situations, their response to those negative G forces on curve 13 of the Olympic bobsled track, their response to, I mean, this beautiful image, this is them, jumping in and getting ready to go. But many times this bobsled would overturn and they are all going at over 100 miles per hour, scraping their helmets on the ice, and doing these turns. So how do you recover from that? What is your resilience? What is your response to that? And what their response was, not to walk off and never get on that sled again. Their response was get right back up to the top of the track and do that curve 13 again. Look for new ways of handling that. And that's what I want to talk about today is what is our response. I'm looking at some others. I love these listeners. Maya, great listening, um, impacting and influencing. William, I really appreciate that from CVS. Connecting information and learning. Mike, that's really interesting. Especially I think I saw that you did project management. And so connecting all those disparate parts and bringing them together so that a project can actually get completed. There's lots of people that value that. So really appreciate that. Now, I want to back up just a little bit and I want you to think about this morning. I don't know what time you got up. I was up about 4:35, and not because it's a champion mindset, just because I wanted to get my day started correctly. But uh, during these times when unemployment is your employment, sometimes getting up is probably the hardest thing that you'll do all day. So I congratulate you on that. Way to go, champions. But with that, I want you to think about what is within your control. Do you control COVID-19? Do you control whether the school shuts down and your kids are studying remotely? Do you control whether your event is in person, or suddenly has to move online? There are so many things that we're dealing with, but how we respond to those. What is our perseverance? What is our resiliency? And what can we do to take our best and make it better? So I just want you to think a little bit about some of those things that are causing uncertainty in your life right now. And the first one to put in chat, unemployment wins, because that's why we're all here today. But I do want to bring you some mindset. So let's go ahead and go to the next screen real quick. So what are the thoughts that are powering your mindset at this point? And sorry, Siri is interrupting me in my ear. Okay, so what are the thoughts that you have? I am not sure. I love this, Tyler, that you're extremely driven. When you set your mind to something and it's in your control, you're getting it done. You have a champion mindset. And really, one of the best things about that mindset is the intention that you are setting there, Tyler, because you are telling your mind, no matter what the circumstances are, We are going to continue. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to look for other ways. And I think somebody in the chat a little bit earlier, when they were talking about resiliency, I think you also talked about resourcefulness. And every challenge that you have, there, depending on the mindset, you can either shut down or you can say, I'm going to look for an alternative avenue. Now, if unemployment was a trip to Hawaii and that's what you were doing is planning a trip to Hawaii, I guarantee that every single one of you would be finding the best price, the best hotel, the best rental car, and the best way to make that happen. And why is it any different for job search? Well, because job search is boring, job search is mundane, job search is not Hawaii. However, you can take the Hawaii mindset and create your job search in and turn that from something negative into something positive. So the thoughts that you generate, that you control, really have so much to do with your success. And I want to give you some examples from the sports world. So I mentioned Nathan Chen earlier. One of the choices that he had to make early on, he was actually a hockey player. His parents were immigrants from China. They had lived in a couple of different places, and how they ended up in Salt Lake City, I'll never know. But when Nathan left hockey and started to do figure skating, he was okay. He wasn't great. In fact, a number of his coaches didn't even really see any potential. Now he's the U.S. Olympic hopeful. Uh, he's currently 22 years old, just graduated from Yale. But when he was 10, 11, and 12, he had to decide whether he was going to continue with figure skating and leave public school system. In other words, if he wanted to pursue his dream, he actually had to leave public school behind, friends, all of those kinds of things that the connection that am doing this year, he actually had to make a sacrifice and leave that behind. I love his mindset, though, was that he knew that by perseverance, by following this and sacrificing something else, he had potential to be great. Same kind of thing with Hawaii. When you look at Hawaii, you know that you have potential to have an amazing, incredible vacation. Well, maybe you could take that same mindset and do a bit of a shift and think about how amazing and wonderful and cool your next role could be. I think so many people get stuck in the day to day of I'm not employed yet, my bills are due, this is affecting my family, this is affecting my. Yes, it is, but you are the one that controls the outcome strictly through your response. So let's think about that. What are some things that we can do to live in the moment like an athlete? Well, think about where you're at. So the very first thing is if you are worrying about not having a job, if you are worrying about your bills that are due the beginning of next month, if you are worrying, you are currently in the future and you are stuck in the future worrying and spinning around that. Or you could be in the past. I've had trouble the past 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 months finding employment that's determining my future. In other words, you have lost hope. And if that's the case, you're living in the past. Champions live in the present. It's all about what am I doing at this moment? So I want you to think about what is it that even got you here to Career Connectors this morning? You are here in this moment, and I believe that you are here for a reason. 2 months ago, November, when they reached out to me to present today, I have been thinking about you. I have been praying for you and your success. I have really been focusing on you, which is why I wanted to see your faces more than just your names, because I have had a vision in my mind of who I am presenting to. And you know what? In my vision, I was presenting to you in person. We were all in the same room. I had all these dynamics of things that we were going to be doing. And you know what? We shift because we're online. But Jashil Knox, I love seeing you because even in a mask, because I have been envisioning you and your success and praying for that for the past 2 months, because that is something that I can control. Mary Beth, when I see your wonderful smile just on your image, I'm just like, that is exactly what I pictured presenting, people I'm presenting to. And I have been envisioning that for the past couple of months. So, can you do that same thing? If I ask you to envision your trip to Hawaii, I imagine that you have no problem coming up with that visual in your mind. But if I ask you, Mike Lowe, to do the exact same thing for your next role, I imagine that you all might have some challenge with doing that. So, can we just take a moment and do a small exercise? You can close your eyes, you can turn your screen off, you can do whatever you want. But I want you to think for a moment, and I don't know if this is 2 weeks out, if this is 2 months out, but we might as well just bring it into the present and let's just figure it's today. And you are in your next role and you are doing what you love. I need to know from you, what does that look like? What does that feel like? And this one in sports psychology is huge. More than your imagery, what does it feel like? If you are creating your next role, and for some of you, it might be easier to think what it's not like. I don't want it like it was at Intel when they were laying people off. I don't want it where I'm feeling suppressed. I don't like it when I'm feeling micromanaged. So you can start there, but then just with your mindset, just flip it to the positive. So what is the positive or the opposite of micromanaged? Probably autonomy. So what does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that sound like? What are your surroundings? I'm looking at Mike, your background image. I'm like, I like that. I'd like to work there. That looks like a really nice place. Nobody wants to work in my background unless you're a skier, and then you're like, oh yeah, bring it on. Most of you in Arizona are probably not skiers. But can you feel a shift, just a small shift in your demeanor when you think about the now, the positive, what it looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like, how you feel at the end of the day when you are in your greatness? This is what champions do. I guarantee you, with my bobsled team, we were not asking them to envision themselves turning the sled over and on their helmets on curve 13. Every time they mentally walked through that track, they are doing it in a successful manner. They are feeling the G forces. They are feeling the steering wheel or wherever they're at, whatever their placement in the sled is, they're feeling that. They're envisioning that team working together. I don't know if you know this, but every morning before we started practice, the very first thing we did was we'd put our clamps on and we would walk from the base of the track up to the starting point of the track. We would work it backwards and they would visualize themselves going through every single turn, all 13 of them, or excuse me, 17 of those turns on that track. The track after the end line, the turns after that, and all the way back up to the starting point. I I'm going to place a wager here that many of you have not done that with your current job search. You have not envisioned, like Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind. You probably have spent more time worrying about, do I have my tools? Do I have my resume? Who am I networking with? Um, than you have spent on creating the feelings and the imagery of what that success looks like. Now, I'm not against some of the things that you're thinking, the hard work, the utilizing your tools, all of those. I just think you're not spending enough time feeling and living in the present with what that is going to look like. So, Francel, Mortimer, I see you nodding. I see that you're getting this. Some people are like, I'm just not a visualizer. Well, if you're going to be a champion in the Olympics or in life, start visualizing. In other words, let me put it in another context. Start creating it mentally so you can bring it to pass physically. Now, I know that Career Connectors is a faith-based organization. So with those of you who are faith-based, you have a lot of things that you can tie that to as well. Creating something and then allowing the universe to get around you in order to open those doors, to bring those thoughts to your mind. It's the creative process. If you talk to anyone who is creative, an artist, a performer, these Olympic athletes, they are creating it mentally and visually in their mind before it comes to pass. I want you to do the same thing for your job search. So now that you're kind of living in the moment, you're living in the present, let the future take care of itself. Step by step, things are going to happen. Let me just give you an example. Jessica Pierce, 12 years ago, she's now left Intel. She had no idea that Career Connectors would be what it is today. Can I get an amen on that, Jessica? Honestly, Jessica was just saying, there is a need, and I think I can do something to fill it. And that's where the creative process started. And now, thousands of individuals later, and you heard about her goal for the future, she's already envisioning they're going to be in multiple states, on the ground, in multiple states, doing the same thing that they're doing for you, for people all over the United States. She has grown so much over the past 12 years. It's actually mind-boggling. But it all started with that tiny seed of, I found a need and I think I can do something about it. And I'm going to continue moving in that direction and visualizing it. And I know what it feels like to not have employment. And I know what it feels like to be employed. And I want to help people bridge that gap. Hence, Career Connectors. So it can happen for you. It can, just like it happened for her, and it happens for every one of these athletes. Taking your best and figuring out ways to make it better. It's a mental shift. In fact, there's a great book out there by Dr. Carol Dweck, and it's all about thought. What she did is she studied, it's called Mindset by Dr. Carol S. Dweck. They studied children and their problem solving abilities. And those children would do typically one of two things. If they would give them manipulatives and have them, you know, try something, and they would get stuck. Maybe it was calculus problems. I don't know. But what they would do is they would largely fall into two categories. They would either talk about how hard it was and give up, or they would reset their mind and say, well, I know that there's a way. They wouldn't have given this to me if there wasn't a way to figure it out. So I'm going to try something else. I want to tell you something. Just like with Jessica and the success of Career Connectors and all of these champions that are Olympic hopefuls and champions, the road to success is paved with failure. Mary Beth, I saw that nod in your head like, wait, what? What did he just say? The road to success is paved with failure. Or another way of saying this is, the road to success is paved through trial and error. It's the scientific method. Jessica, how many trials and how many errors have there been in the past 12 years?
Oh my gosh, a lot. Those are all pilots, whatever.
they're just pilot programs. Think about it. The fact, I don't know where you're at on vaccination and I don't much care, but I want you to think about the fact that we have a vaccine. How did that happen? Prior to a couple of years ago, there was no pandemic, but through the scientific method of trial and error, we are now seeing success with people who have been vaccinated. So it's the scientific method. It is the champions method. It is the sports psychology method that in order to get to success, you are going to have many, many failures. Think about Einstein. Think about Edison. The fact that you've got lights above your head is because of thousands of failures. So I love that, Roger. To achieve the strength of steel heart, and pressure needs to be applied. Steel heat, not heart. Yes, the pressure, and you're feeling the pressure, and that's why we're here. It's because we want to help you be present and take what that pressure is and then decide what your outcome is going to be. So really great. All right, let's go ahead. Now that we've talked about thought, I want you to be in the second cap. When you are working with your negative thinking, it is up to you to make the change into positive. So instead of my bobsledders looking at curve 13 and having fear and having anxiety, they're thinking in the future about a negative event. What we do is we simply reframe that with a positive event and some steps on how to make that positive. Are they successful every single run? No, they're not. As you watch the Olympics, is every competitor do a perfect run every time? No, I love it in the ice skating when somebody falls and the whole audience is like, but what do? They respond, they get up, they keep going, and they stick to the plan that they have in their mind. And many times they do beautifully. That's what I'm looking for each of you to have that champion mindset is you're good. You know that you have strengths. You know that you have things to offer. And it's really important that you learn to communicate that you learn to envision yourself doing that. Or I say that, it could be many things, and that you remain present. Now, the other thing that athletes do, and it's really interesting, is they all practice breathing techniques. Tennis players do it, our bobsledders did it. Everyone I know practices breathing. So here's another thing that you can do to be a champion and to get you to stop thinking about the future, stop thinking, spinning your wheels in the future or the past, but get yourself to the present. And it's quick breathing. Many of you have done this. There's different methods, but basically, the information that's interesting that you may not know is that your brain, getting oxygen to your brain, breathing through the nose is better than breathing through the mouth. If you will breathe through your nose, then you are increasing the flow to your vascular system, the vasodilator and bronchodilator. Yes, I have vocabulary help there. It increases the oxygen transport throughout your body. So it's simple. I like the 6-1-7. You can do 10, pause, and then 10 down. But really, I just want you to try it right now. And those of you with masks, you may need to hold it out here for a second so it doesn't squeeze up against your face. But you're just basically going to do this. Breathe in through your nose for 6 seconds. Are you ready? I'll count you down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it for 1, and then breathe out your mouth for 7. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, I don't have time to sit here and do this exercise with you for the next minute and a half, but if you will do it for a minute and a half, you will find that you have changed the chemistry of your body. You will find that your mind is more alert. You'll find that you'll stop the racing that's happening about the future or the racing that's been happening about the past, and that you can be in the present moment. So I want you to practice that while we're doing this. But just that change in your physiological state can put you in a place where you are open to receive more information. They utilize this quite a bit with people who suffer from panic attacks or anxiety attacks, this breathing as well. Because what's happening is your body is functioning at such a high rate that your breathing gets messed up. And that's why this can bring you back to center. It's something that all of you can control. So now you're breathing like an athlete, you're present, you're thinking like an athlete. I want you to focus on small, achievable goals. Let's go ahead and go to the next screen. When you are focusing, this is action that you are taking. And I love Michael Johnson. Many of you might remember Michael Johnson from the Summer Olympics. Mike, you're nodding your head. Golden shoes, right? And he was a track and field Olympic all-star. This was prior to Usain Bolt, who came and obliterated all of those records. But Michael Johnson, somebody asked him, how did you learn to set goals? And you know what he said? He's like, what are you talking about? He says, I just walked into Safeway and I knew that if I would write down the 5 things I needed before I walked into Safeway, I would be out of there in 5 to 10 minutes. But if I did not write it down, I would be in there 20 minutes or more, and I would be anxious because I would be in the little ho-hos aisle and the Oreos, knowing that I didn't need any of this stuff. This is an Olympic champion saying, simplify your goals. Simplify. Write them down, but make them simple. He's like, I had 5 things that I needed to go into Safeway. And if I knew that I could change my world by walking into Safeway with 5 goals and save that amount of time, I could do that in my Olympic training. That is how he began his goal setting to become an Olympic champion. I know that every single one of you on this call has that ability today to take that action. And so here's what I want you to do. I want you to put 1 or 2 goals in the chat that you could do today related to your job search. 1 or 2 goals that you could do today. Now, one of them you've already accomplished because you're here and your goal was to get to Career Connector. So I applaud you for that. Don't write that goal, write 1 or 2 others. And go ahead and put those in the chat. And while you're putting those in the chat, I'm going to tell you another story about Michael Johnson. He says that when he wrote his goals down, it was easy to get too many and to pull focus. And suddenly he recognized he was either thinking in the future and worrying or thinking in the past. So really, as you are, breathe and don't panic. I love it. You've got your breathing technique. Hopefully the panic alarm can come down a little bit. Oh, don't lose hope. I love that one. I'm going to tell you a quote about hope here in a minute. These are great. Write down 3 questions to ask during this afternoon's phone interview. Love it, Mary Beth. Complete degreed app. This is great. Just small things that you know that you can do. Reaching out to 2 or 3 coworkers from your past to reconnect, to network. I love these. So you guys are all champions. You're all getting this. Such simple things that you know that you can do. Now, as you accomplish each one of those, I also want you to think about, how did I get there? And what do I need to do to replicate that or make it better? In other words, what am I going to do to take my best and make it better? Just like Coach Saban was talking about. So what Michael did, or what we learned from Michael, is he reduced his goals down to 2. 2 questions that he would ask himself every single day. And it's not rocket science. He would say to himself, number 1, have I done my very best today? And if the answer was yes, he would move on. If the answer was no, what do I have to do to achieve my very best today? Those are small, measurable goals. He said, a lot of times we focus on, I want to be an Olympic champion, and that's the goal. He's like, that's not the goal. The goal is, what am I going to do every single day to get to that? So when we're talking about your next role, what are you going to do every single day that's within your power, within your control? You don't control the recruiters. You don't control the job posts. You don't control the economy. But I'm going to tell you right now, based on everything we're reading, you guys are in a really good position. Wages have increased 4.7%. The job numbers have increased They were up in the like 500,000 a month. October, September, October, November. December was a little weird, only like 200,000 new ones. Okay, but they're out there for you. And not only that, but every recruiter on this call is going to tell you that they've never had a harder time in the past 20 years getting employees than they have today. And if I can get an amen from any of you recruiters, from the Phoenix Suns, from MSR in the chat, I know the struggle that they are dealing with. I hear about it every single day. Some of our recruiters here on campus have said, man, if they're breathing, if they have a pulse, they're hired. Now, I'm not going to attribute that to our employers that are here today, but they are having such a hard time finding people. So I also want to fill you with truth today that if you're telling yourself, oh yeah, they're all out there, but not the one for me, that's negative thinking, and you control that. And as you say that out loud, as you say that out loud, you are bringing that creation into existence. Don't do that. Switch the mindset, go with mindful, with a growth mindset, as Dr. Carol Dweck calls it. Go with a growth mindset. Challenge yourself to grow that mindset and say, or am I going to be resourceful? There is something out there for me. I just haven't found it yet. I really look for it. Suddenly you're now on the job search. It's a hunt, it's a game. It's like planning a trip to Hawaii. You're excited about it. That's what I want to hear. Thank you, Giovanna. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Elizabeth. I got some amens out there. So, in the short time that we have left, I want to talk to you about these actions that you can take. But I love this quote that I got. When I'm helpless, I'm hopeless. When I'm helpless, I'm hopeless. When I'm helpful, I'm hopeful. Where is somewhere that you can be of help today? This is a goal that you can do. Whether this is a spouse, whether this is a child, whether this is a colleague, whether this is a friend, whether this is an acquaintance, whether this is Mary Beth's amazing smile that she just smiles to somebody on the street or at the grocery store. I mean, her smile is gold, Olympic gold, Mary Beth. And just sharing that with others, that's something you can do to help. And when you are helpful, you are not helpless. Every one of you can do that. So I love, I know that Francel, I can't see your smile, but I'm just imagining it behind that mask. Same with you, Jashil, and I'm not sure if I'm saying your name, but when I'm helpful, I'm hopeful. What can you do? What action can you do today? Oh, look at those beautiful pearly whites. Thank you, Jashil. Loving it. Okay, so let's go ahead and move to the next slide about action. We're moving through action, and I want to talk about tools real quick. Just looking in this image and at these Olympic hopefuls, what tools do you see in order for them to achieve their Olympic dreams? Oh, Socorro, I'm so happy to hear you and see you. What are the tools that you're seeing? What do they have on their feet? What do they have on their head? What do they have on their eyes? What do they have on their hands? When I'm helpful, I'm hopeful. Is there a song about it? I'm sure there is. There always is. So, what are you seeing? I want you to think about this in terms of your job search. What you got to have the right gear. You have to have the right training. You have to have the right. If they didn't have skates, they have to have the right skates. Those are not figure skates. These are speed skates. They're completely different. They're this much longer and 1,000 times sharper. So, do you have the right tools? Well, if you don't, thank goodness you came to Career Connectors today, because Jessica already listed all these people who are here to help you with tools, and they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart. They're volunteers. So, if you are stuck on your resume, or your resume is not getting the response that you want, instead of coming to the Career Connectors and talking to the resume coaches and hoping that they tell you that everything is right on your resume, you should really hope that they tell you a bunch of things that are not right on your resume. And you should be grateful to hear that. so that you can make those changes so that you can be successful. They are your coaches. Do you know an Olympic athlete that does not have a coach? I don't. It's nigh unto impossible because we get in our head and we get stuck in the future, in the past. Our wheels are spinning. We're hyperventilating. We're not breathing. We're not paying our bills. We're worried about all of these things. We're not present enough in our own job search to be in the champion mindset. And that's why I want to bring you back. So think about these tools. What are they? They are your resume. They are your cover letter. And so many people are like, why do I need a cover letter? Because you need the right tool for the right job at the right time. And if somebody asks you for a cover letter and you don't have one, you are unprepared as a job athlete. As a job candidate, you are then unprepared and you're sent scrambling and you've lost the competition because somebody else had their cover letter ready to go. So, what are the tools? In your job search toolkit, you've got to have a coach. And you're like, wait, I don't know how to do that. I'll tell you in a second. You've got to have a coach. You've got to have a resume. You've got to have a cover letter. You need a great LinkedIn profile. You need thank you notes. You need your licenses, certifications, your industry knowledge. Perhaps you recognize that there's a gap there. Well, go to GCF Learn Free and learn how to use Excel. Learn how to use PowerPoint. Learn how to use all, and it's all free at gcflearnfree.org. You can upgrade your skill set on all of those things that perhaps were not, I'm just going to call them your gaps, the gaps that keep you from performing like a champion in your role. So those tools are so important. Now, recently in the Harvard Business Review, here's how you get yourself a coach. There are probably what, 60, 70, 100 people on this call, and you're not in person. Well, they asked you to put your LinkedIn profile link right in the chat so that you can connect to other people. So I'm looking at Tyler and I'm looking at Francel and I'm looking at Jashil and Mike all on the same row. And I'm like, is there anything stopping the four of you from connecting outside of this meeting and helping be a peer coach for each other? This is 1 day a week. What do you do the other 7 or 6 days? You've got time on your hands and you can be, when you are helpful, you're not helpless. So can Tyler help Francel? Yes, he doesn't have to know her industry. He doesn't have to know about library sciences. He just has to know how to visit with Francel and ask questions. Francel, how's the job search going? What was the one thing that you did today? If you're a champion like Michael Johnson, what did you do that was your best today? And what did you not stop doing until you accomplished it today? Tyler can hold Francel accountable for that, and she can do the same for him. So in these dyads, triads, maybe you're in a quad, but you can do this for each other outside of Career Connectors. The whole point of Career Connectors is to bring you together to help you help each other. You have recruiters who are here today, and guess what? They didn't always work at CVS, MSR, or the Phoenix Suns. They all worked somewhere else as a recruiter before they did this. The world of recruiting is a very small world. They know people all over the place. So why you wouldn't spend some time talking to Giovanna, whose name I love, and she reminds me of one of my favorite people in the world, why you wouldn't talk to her because you're not interested in working in a clean room or doing clean room construction. I don't care. That doesn't matter. She knows other recruiters in other places that have jobs, and she knows that every single one of those recruiters is struggling to find you, Tyler Tooley. So spend the time today to utilize your coaches, to utilize your tools, and to be helpful to someone else that will in turn open opportunities and pave the way for you. Now, we've been talking about things that you can do. I also want to talk about, in the last few minutes, things not to do. Can we go to the next slide real quick? I'm not going to tell you not to follow through. I'm definitely going to tell you to follow through. But here are some things that you control that keep you from following through. First of all, what are 5 things that you can stop doing today that are keeping you from achieving your goals? In other words, let me help you with this. Good job, Tyler. You are a champion. I see it in you. LinkedIn profile right out there. CVS, MSR, Phoenix Suns. I hope you'll all reach out to Tyler today and make this connection. It's going to be amazing. Look at that. There's Will from CVS right there, Tyler. Now, think about this. What is something, here's the 5 things. What will I not say? Because according to one sports psychologist, when you say something negative out loud, it increases its likelihood and power by 7 times. That got your attention. Your eyes all lit up on that. When you say something negative out loud, it increases its power and likelihood by 7 times. In fact, when he was speaking, he was saying, people don't like to be told to think positively, but here's what I know in my research. Negative thinking works, and it works really, really well in keeping you from achieving your goals. So when he works with sports clubs, he says, what we're going to do is we're going to combat your negative thinking, and here's 5 things that you can stop doing. What will I not say? Number 2, what will I not watch? I'll tell you right now, I haven't watched a news program for 10 years. Because if you want to be down and depressed and upset, you spend 5 seconds watching the first 5 seconds of any news broadcast, and you will be depressed for the next 3 days. So, what am I going to stop doing? What will I not say? What will I not watch? What will I not eat or consume? Ho-hos and Oreos? If you're Michael Johnson, you're going to write the 5 things down that you need so that you are not distracted by all the other aisles of temptation at Safeway. What are you not going to eat or consume that are going to help you be more productive? These are the things that they are telling athletes. In order to be in the champion mindset, what are you going to stop doing? Who will you not follow or associate with? Oh my goodness. Jessica, this has been your past year. Who will you not associate with? Right?
Yep.
There are some things that there are toxic people out there, and they are in your life, and they like to suck up your time and your energy. And really, it's kind of like Ursula the Sea Witch. They just take everything out of you. That Disney movie with Ariel and her dad, King Triton, is just shrunken down into this useless, non-powerful individual. There are those individuals. So who will you not associate with or unfollow? And who will you not listen to? 5 simple things as you look at that. And I am at my time today. Follow through, follow through, follow through. Every one of the recruiters on this call today will tell you that they are overwhelmed with trying to find people. And those who will follow through with them in a positive way are going to be the ones that get their attention. This ski jumper here, if they don't follow through, they will die. It's just a fact. Once you are committed, you must commit to the entire run. You must commit to doing the daily things. If that's getting up at 4 a.m., if that's connecting with 4 people outside of Career Connectors to hold you accountable, to be vulnerable with them, for Tyler and Mike to be able to connect over coffee at Starbucks or the coffee bean and tea leaf and be able to have a conversation, that is going to be far more helpful to you in your job search than sitting online and applying to 100 different roles. Did you hear that? Having coffee with your friend who will hold you accountable, where you can be authentic, vulnerable, and straightforward, is going to get you to your next role faster than applying to 100 roles online. So with that, I will close just thanking you for the opportunity to help you with your champion mindsets. If you wouldn't mind just pulling out your cell phone right here, right now, I want you to look up and see what some champions look like. So if you'll just pull out your cell phone, and why don't you just go ahead and go to the camera, and there you go. Just take a selfie, and there's today's champion. I can't wait to see the gold that all of you bring to this world as you move forward as champions. Thank you so much for letting me be here today.
Oh, thank you, Justin. We so appreciate you. We have a question here. I just wanted to ask you, for everyone, can you summarize quickly the 5 things you said, Francel?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to summarize them, and then I'm going to shoot them over to Julia, and she's going to put them in the blog. Okay.
Perfect.
Number 1, what will I not say? Number 2, what will I not watch? Number 3, what will I not eat or consume? I just love that one. I love, because every time Oreos and little ho-hos come to mind. What will you not follow, or who will you not follow or associate with? This is going to be a hard one for some of you, but you're champions. I believe in you. Think of that Ursula, the sea witch, and all those shrunken bodies. That is not what you're going for. You're going for the hero. And what will you not listen to? You control what you listen to in your car. You control what you listen to as you are working out. You control who and what you listen to on the television. Get those negative influences out of your way. And then you have room and space, once you've done your breathing exercise, to hear opportunity coming to your mind. That's going to tell Tyler, you know what, I do want to meet my glow, and I do want to have coffee at the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, and I think this could be great. Let's get Francel and Jashil there, and we are going to have a great time this afternoon. So there's your answer.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Justin. Can you, when you go off, can you dump into the link? Oh, somebody put it in. GCF Learn Free. That's the Excel site, right?
Yeah, and I think it's
Okay.
.org. I think it's .org, Mike.
Okay.
But double check that.
Oh, Kitty just put it in the chat. So that's the free Excel site. Justin, thank you so much for being here. How about everyone, virtual applause for Justin?
Hey, you're all invited to come and connect with me and sit on my couch for 18 days in February to watch the Olympics. Welcome to Salt Lake City.
In Salt Lake City. That's awesome. We're there. Thank you, Justin. Thank you so much for being here today. All right, you guys, we're going to move over into our hiring companies. I did want to say I love the 5 things that he did talk about. He gave the summary, and I had mentioned earlier, I had a little bit of a tough year, and so my gratitude is the word of the year. But one of the processes I had to go through was who I will not be following and associating with, and so I had to go through my own kind of process, and I just said, you know what, that's not my circle. I'm going to bless and release that person, and it has freed me up of so much. So I encourage you to take at least 1 or 2 of those 5 things he says and really dive into them and think, because they can change your life. The people you associate with can absolutely change your life. Okay, so let's move on. Elizabeth, could you, let's see, turn on your camera, say hello. I want to make sure you're there there you go.
Hi, everyone.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to introduce you guys to Elizabeth. I was so excited when she reached out, when we got to talking and she said she's hiring. I'm like, I know people would love to work for the Phoenix Suns. So let's talk about this. So Elizabeth recently joined the Suns Legacy Partners team in October of 2021 as the HR business partner overseeing the recruiting efforts for the administrative positions within the organization. You guys, this includes Phoenix Suns, the Phoenix Mercury, and the Footprint Center. So with over 10 years of experience in working with Arizonans in finding their next career path, Elizabeth has experience with working with private and public sectors in various HR roles, and her passion is to be an instrument in someone's life when it comes to finding their next dream job. Please help me welcome Elizabeth to the stage today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I'm so excited. Thank you, Jessica, for having us. So who is a sports fan or a basketball fan? You can put it on the chat. All right. Do we have any Phoenix Suns fans? Go Suns, yes. All right. So, everybody knows the Phoenix Suns or the Phoenix Mercury. The Suns Legacy Partners is basically the umbrella, the administrative umbrella that hires for the Phoenix Suns, the Phoenix Mercury, and now the arena, which is the venue, which is Footprint Center. And if you can go to the next slide, Jessica, for me, please. And this slide, it just talks a little bit about what the organizations are. So like I was mentioning, the Suns Legacy Partners, they oversee the 797 employees within these three organizations. We hire from part-time to full-time positions, and they're all the administrative positions. We don't necessarily hire for the players, as the players are hired through the NBA or the WNBA. And if you're not familiar with the Phoenix Suns, the Phoenix Mercury, or Footprint Center, this is just a little bit of explanation. The Phoenix Suns have been long regarded as one of the most successful NBA franchises on and off the court. On January 22nd, 1968, the NBA Board of Governors awarded a franchise to Phoenix. And this was when Phoenix Suns were, they became the team. In 1987, Phoenix Mercury were founded. And a little fact for you, if you didn't know, the Phoenix Mercury was named after the fact that the planet Mercury is the closest to the sun. So they wanted to have some connection there. Footprint Center is a sports and entertainment arena here in Phoenix, Arizona. It just changed the name. If you're from Phoenix, Arizona, you know that it has gone through several name changes. So Footprint is the current name. It was announced in July 16 of 2021. And Footprint is actually a Gilbert-based material science company here in Chandler, Arizona. All right, if you can go to the next slide for me, please. Okay, so I mentioned about the Suns Legacy Partners, which is again the umbrella. And our mission is to provide the finest in sports entertainment and community leadership. And our goals are to win championships and create sustained success. In all of our operations and in everything that we do, we seek to be the global leader in our industry, in innovation, technology, and fan experience. We advance our mission and achieve our goals by identifying, hiring, and developing teammates who demonstrate and are committed to our winning behaviors of integrity, accountability, resilience, pursuing excellence, and teamwork. Anybody has seen the Suns play recently? Who could tell me how many games we've won total so far this season? I see people Googling already. 31, Maya. All right, perfect. So we, like I was mentioning, we hire the Suns Legacy Partners. So if you were to get hired to work for our organization, the offer letter would normally say the Suns Legacy Partners, as again is the umbrella. All right, Jessica, can you go into the next slide? Or you can skip this one. You already said this part. All right, perfect. Okay, so like Jessica mentioned, I recently started working here for Suns Legacy Partners in October. Prior to that, I worked for the state of Arizona and the Department of Economic Security and HR. These are several of our different positions that we have right now. We have more on our website, and I'll put in the next slide, it will have the information of where you can go. But I have to be honest with you. I like the Suns. I'm a native of Arizona, and I've always rooted for the Phoenix Suns. My husband is a hardcore Suns fan, and I don't know much about basketball, and that's okay. And if you're like me and you're like, well, I don't know sports, but I am, I have experience in this kind of a field or position, and I would want an opportunity. You don't have to be a Suns fan or a basketball fan. You have to just have the abilities to be able to meet the skills or the requirements for the position that you're applying for. There's a lot of people that have relocated from different states and are hardcore Cavaliers fans, Nets fans, and they work for the Phoenix Suns, and that's okay. And so if you are like, I don't like, I'm not a sports fan, or I'm not a Phoenix Suns fan, that's all right. We still want you to join our team. And because together we can make a better organization and better. We want to make sure that our fans and our guests that come into our arena have the best experience. And we want to make sure that we have those employees with us that are able to provide that good experience to guests and fans. So like I mentioned, there's different positions. Anybody interested in some positions that are in marketing or communications, digital, graphic design, administrative assistant, payroll, those are all the positions there. And Jessica, if you could go to the next slide. To apply, there's two different ways. If you grab your phone and you turn on your camera on and you put it in front of the QR code that's right there on the screen, you are able to automatically go into the web page where you can apply. If you don't have that ability because you're on your phone right now and you can't get it, you can go into our website. And when we do the breakout room, I'll have that information on the chat as well. So that way you can be able to just copy and paste it from there and go on. But I am so excited to be here. I'm excited to network with each one of you. Even if you don't think that you're interested, just come and talk to me. You'll never know what can be there for you. I can tell you that one night I applied for this position. I was, ready to move on to my next career. And I was like, what are the chances of me getting the job? I never thought about it until a few days after I got an email, and I woke up my husband in the middle of the night to tell him, hey, I got called for an interview. And it was so exciting. And, I've been there, and you hear a lot of the times, oh, working for this company is like a family. I can tell you that I work for several companies, and this one feels like a family, like we work together. And kind of what you see from the players, if you've seen any of the basketball games, what you see on the court from the players of how united they are, that's kind of the same, feeling that you get when you're in the office. Justin was talking about, how hard it's been for recruiters to get, fill positions. It has been, and it's been a challenge. I went from working from the state, like I mentioned, working from home when the pandemic started. And because our company is right now we are having games, we are having events, we are in the office. We do look at everything, the pandemic being seriously, and, we take all the precautions that are necessary. And we do follow the NBA guidelines for our positions and our staff and our employees. But it's good to know to work for a company that takes the proper steps to make sure that all of their staff are safe and healthy throughout being able to maintain and do the job that they're hired to do. So I look forward to speaking with you and meeting with you and connecting with you during our breakout session.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I love this. This is awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I love something you said, and I want to make sure everyone has heard this. You had said, hey, even if you don't see a position, stop in, chat, get to know, me a little bit. And I love that because, Justin talked about networking. Our organization is built on networking. And really, I always tell people when you go to events, meet with every employer there. If it's an employer event, even if you don't think that's a match right away, because building the connection, having a conversation, then connecting on LinkedIn and following up, things open all the time. Jobs are always coming out and you never know what might be available. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here, Elizabeth.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we are going to move on to MSR FSR. Giovanna DeFalco is here. She is a recruiter, and she has worked in the recruitment and operations across a variety of industry for years. And at MSR FSR, Giovanna primarily focuses connecting early talent with entry-level, high-tech manufacturing opportunities in the semiconductor industry. She is based in Oregon and has been with MSR FSR since November. Giovanna, welcome. We are so glad you're here.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to start by saying thank you to Career Connectors for having MSR FSR here, and to Justin for the keynote. And Elizabeth, I loved what you shared about not being from the industry that you're in and encouraging people to apply, because I myself, as Jessica shared, I've worked in many different industries, None of them had to do with high tech or high tech manufacturing. And yet here I am, and I love working in this role. And so just definitely want to reiterate that message that, branching out, connecting with folks in different industries, applying where maybe you don't have previous experience or an industry you don't have experience in, definitely want to highlight that sentiment. So I am going to share a little bit about MSR, FSR, demystify what that string of letters is and what it means, and talk a little bit about who we are, what we do, and the opportunities that we have. So if you can go to the next slide. So before getting into demystifying MSR, FSR, I want to talk a little bit about why you should work in the semiconductor industry. And I'm hoping you all can help me out in the chat. I'd like you to type a 1 for yes and a 2 for no. If you are familiar with the semiconductor industry at all, if you've heard of that term, if you haven't heard of that term, okay, I see some 1s, I see a 2, some 1s and 2s, we've got a mix. Okay, awesome. So just to kind of level set and talk about why I believe that you should think about working in the semiconductor industry. So to simplify semiconductors, they are connectors within a microchip. And that is such a big piece of the way that we live our lives today. The technology that semiconductors is a part of is in as simple of technology as the seatbelt technology in your car, in as complex of technology as the laptops that we're all accessing this event on today, our smartphones, the smartwatches a lot of us wear, the kitchen appliances that we cook our meals in. Semiconductors are so integrated into our everyday lives and will continue to be, because we live in a society based around technology, although I know a lot of us have a love-hate relationship with it. So I really like to start with the why and giving some context to what kind of opportunities there are in a field that is constantly growing, like high tech and high tech manufacturing. So if you can go to the next slide. So now to get into what MSR, FSR is and who we are and what we do. Essentially, we are a partner to many different high-tech industries, primarily the semiconductor industry, and that's where a lot of our open positions are. But we also support industries in life sciences, energy, aerospace, pharmaceuticals, lots of different industries, and we provide engineering solutions for folks. So we do things like quality assurance, working on equipment, commissioning, making sure the equipment works correctly, installation, deinstallation. And what that looks like is careers as technicians working on equipment, construction, building the sites that create this type of technology, project management, construction management, many different types of engineering, mechanical, civil. So we have a variety of different employment opportunities. Today, I'm really going to focus on the entry level, and I'm going to focus on our MSR side. As you can see on the left, I've broken down what MSR, FSR means. And that's essentially our material support resources and field support resources. So working on those high-tech materials or being out in the field and working for one of our partner companies and working with their equipment and whatnot. So I want to help you visualize a little bit about what that can look like on our MSR side. So if you can go to the next slide. And click once, please. So to show, this is our office in Chandler, Arizona. That's where we're headquartered. And you can see the outside as well as some of the equipment that our folks work on in terms of material support resources. And then if you can click 3 times, please. When you're thinking of materials, this is what we're talking about. These are the types of equipment that you would work on, and whether that is refurbishing, whether that is cleaning the equipment so that it's ready to be reused. There are many different ways that you can do that, and this kind of gives a visual. This also probably indicates to you all that these are in-person roles. They are hands-on, because it does require working on equipment. So that is something to keep in mind. And then if you can go to the next slide. And so our primary positions that we have available currently are our entry-level positions. So we have 10 positions for our product technicians, and there are many different transferable skills that can get you into the semiconductor industry. I think when people think high-tech manufacturing, semiconductors, either they've never envisioned themselves there, or they think, I don't work with computers. I don't like technology. I don't have a fit here. But there are so many transferable technical skills and soft skills that would be really helpful to help you get into this industry. So you could have prior experience, like maybe personally or professionally, you've worked on your car or motorcycles, or you do a lot of maintenance in your house. So you work with basic hand tools or different things like that, assembling or disassembling technology. Those skills are valuable and we love those. And we also value just as highly an eagerness to learn and being detail oriented, and someone who is looking for a career path that has advancement opportunities where you can constantly learn and grow. Because another thing about MSR FSR is that we really value being able to develop our employees and give opportunities to advance for promotions and whatnot. And we also do provide paid in-depth training for our roles. So to give you an idea of what this role looks like in terms of compensation, with no prior experience, our roles start at $18 an hour. So with folks who bring those soft skills, are ready to work hard, want to learn and grow in an industry, we're starting at $18 an hour. So that gives you an idea where if you're coming in fresh to the industry, or if you're coming in with some experience, where the starting point may be for that. So if you can go to the next slide, I want to help you envision a little bit about our advancement opportunities. And I also wanted to share some proof that those are there. I think a lot of companies do share about advancement opportunities, and a lot of companies do have a lot of opportunities for promotions and advancement. And at MSR FSR, right now, 100% of our employees in leadership roles did start as technicians at our Arizona site. So we prove that in the way that we promote our employees, and we really want to foster that growth. So you can go a variety of different career paths by starting as a technician. You can do quality control, working on site in the warehouse or production. You can go an engineering route. So there are many different ways that you can advance in this career. So if you can go to the next slide. Although we're headquartered in Chandler, Arizona, we have opportunities across the country and across the world. We have positions that are based at a site. We have traveling positions. And then as you can see, we also have sites that are in Ireland and Israel, and we have open positions there as well. So if you can go to the next slide, thank you. And personal and professional development, opportunities to travel are all very nice and great to have in a role, but the benefits, paying the bills, doing things after that are also really important. So I wanted to share a little bit about that. At MSR FSR, we do have a 401k with a company match. From the time that you start contributing, you are fully vested with that company match. We offer paid time off and paid holidays, health insurance, and we also offer flexible schedules. So what that means is that we have different roles that, although they're in person, We do have shifts that are 3 and 4 day work weeks. So you get 3 or 4 day weekends, lots of extra time off in addition to that PTO. We have schedules that are a standard Monday to Friday, 40 or 50 hours a week. So there is lots of flexibility depending on what your needs are in your life outside of work. And it's not on here, but we do also offer bonuses as well as performance increases. And so next slide. Thank you all so much. I have put my contact information on here as well as the manager at the Arizona site since I'm based in Oregon. His name is Alex Perez and would love to connect with anyone who has further questions that are specific to the role. And I am looking forward to connecting with you all in the breakout rooms. And after my presentation, I'm going to put our posting application links for the production technician and for our general career page in the chat. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Giovanna. We really appreciate you being here today. All right, so another great company, and man, the semiconductor business is taking off here in the States, especially in Arizona. It's crazy. So to be able to support those companies, that's awesome. So thanks again for being here. All right, Roger Adams is here, and he is with CVS, the district support store manager. He's and before, this is one of the things we're talking to CVS about. Before you tune out, we are not just talking about maybe a retail position or just a pharmacy position. There are so many positions at CVS, and I want you all to realize that. And so Roger is here to talk to you about that. He has 23 years working in the pharmacy retail and recruitment space. He is the CVS regional recruitment partner and the district support store manager. Interesting is the fact is he's nationally certified pharmacy tech. And I love this one. Your father of 4, I love that, but he was once a tour guide at the world's only Corn Palace in Mitchell, South Dakota. I don't even know what that means. So, but thank you for putting it down. You'll have to explain it to us.
Gotta have those icebreakers, you know, you do sometimes, right?
And he is a member of the Valor and Brave Veterans Colleague Resource Groups, among many others. So welcome, Roger. We are so glad to have you here today.
It's a pleasure. And Jessica, as always, thank you so much for allowing us to have this time. Partners, and back to the speech we started again, guys, it's not just a matter of the opportunities you have, just networking with the colleagues you meet, just hitting on that point. When you have a point of contact, and I put it in the search bar, an honest question never gets an answer. If you're looking out there, don't just network at job sites, at the grocery store. If you find somebody you're having a conversation with when you're picking up a kid from school, those are the opportunities where you're going to get a foothold in the door because now they've met you before they saw your resume. And as a candidate going out there, getting to know someone before they even happen, it's such a big deal. So we're going to do the whole presentation, but really spoke to me on that first part of the session, guys. Just always have a handshake ready. That's how you're going to get noticed. So welcome, everybody. My name is Roger Adams. I have been with CVS Health for over 8 years. I've been drugstore 23 years. I'm very passionate about it. A lot of you that have met me before know that I could talk about this for like 3 hours, but I'm going to value your time today. Career Connectors has been a great asset with us on multiple events, and we are always excited to be invited to one of your guys' functions. I will grab the next slide here if we could. Our new motto is bringing our heart to every moment of your health. And I'm going to tack on the 3 words we enter, and we believe in at your career also. We're really living this as an industry. It's not just a transaction. We got you in, we get you out. CVS Health is trying to innovate our way into the new world by providing services and benefits and just that local experience at a national level where we can help as many people as we can every day. It's not just about the mascara on the front cosmetic wall. It's not picking up a gallon of milk on the way home. It's that real-time healthcare access point that manages us through these COVID crises, through COVID testing, vaccination, minute clinic visits, to just being the last man standing. A lot of you remember the lockdowns in other states, even here in Arizona. When it gets to the point where there's nothing else open, CVS Health is that front line as a drugstore to be there for our communities. And there's a ton of support that goes with it that many people don't realize, because we're not just one company that has 9,000 drugstores. We're a massive company. We're the 4th largest in the Fortune 500. Next slide, please. So let's just talk about a little bit about Arizona and CVS Health. We're the 11th largest employer in the state of Arizona. Many people don't realize that. We have over 12,000 employees currently active with us. United States, we have over 300,000 employees. In 2021 alone, and Career Connectors was part of this, we hired over 30,000 employees in 3 months alone just to deal with the COVID. And we did it again to 15,000 in November after that. And I'm going to be honest, it's going to happen again. Thank you, Omicron. We are constantly expanding and being in the front space of this so that we can reopen America and persevere through this pandemic. We are now listed on the Fortune 500 as the 4th largest company in the world, where 1 in 3 Americans use our services every day. Now, I'm going to stop and think about that. 1 in 3 Americans use our services in some manner every single day. It's a pretty big deal. We're voted one of the world's most respected and reputable companies, and we're the largest American US-based healthcare company in America. So yes, we're the corner drugstore, and you drive by us all the time, but there's a lot to us that is kind of in the background. So we're going to kind of talk about that today. Next slide, please. Many of you have heard of CVS Health. Many of you have been to a Target and didn't even realize we acquired their pharmacy business over 5 years ago. So there's a CVS store inside of stores you may have didn't even realize. We have many other partners in the platform, everything from Aetna Health Insurance, which is the 5th largest insurance company in the US, CVS Specialty, which focuses on infertility, special medications, HIV, medications that require almost a courier to get to. We do hand delivery, care, implementation. It's a massive undertaking for some of those most expensive pharmaceuticals that you hear. It's a really outstanding thing. It's even got its own airplane to fly emergency meds in a situation to it. So it's a unique thing that people don't get a lot of press on. It's an outstanding part of our business. Quorum is also part of our infusion services. That's where, and the pandemic kind of stepped on our toe, where we built our kidney dialysis program. We're the first US company to introduce an at-home kidney dialysis kit. So you do not have to go to hospital to do it. Quorum does this work for us. So that's a game changer. If you have anybody that's been on dialysis, we literally have created an opportunity where you can do kidney care at home, the dialysis process, without having to go check in, spend 12 days in the hospital, et cetera, like that. We have created our first FDA-approved medical device for at-home use, and Quorum is the one that does that. Minute Clinics, many of you have been there before with a kid with pink eye or something like that. It's an opportunity to get that. Well, how about get to the doctor without having to wait 7 days before you can see the pediatrician? It's in and it's out. As one of my VPs once called, it's like the Jiffy Lube. You don't go to the dealership to get an oil change. You go to the Jiffy Lube and get it done and get the quality done and not pay 3 times as much. CVS Caremark's largest facility is right here on the Shea campus. It is right here in Scottsdale. That's our largest facility for CVS Caremark. They're also across country. They are a PBM. That's a pharmacy benefits management company. They have over 3,000 people in-house right now. They're normally 8. The rest are working from home. And they adjudicate care on prescription side. Insurance companies are really good at medicine, hospitals and nurses. But we manage the prescription care for many plans across your industry. You'd be amazed how many people see the word Caremark on their insurance card. We as a business help manage their care. And then Omnicare. Omnicare is our in-her home and external home care for nursing home. Omnicare is where we launched the first vaccination status when the US opened up the first vaccines. Omnicare was the channel we used to go to nursing homes, along with Walgreens. We partnered with them. We were the 2 first companies to get the vaccination into arms to our most challenged individuals. There's a lot to us outside of just the 9,000 stores where we're trying to save you a trip at home. And all of these divisions are represented right here in the Phoenix market, with openings from entry level to director level. In about every aspect of the business you can think of, from training to social work to adjudication of care. But we're looking for some great people, and we'll upskill you in all of these divisions. And then, of course, CVS Health myself. I'm with the brick and mortar side of the business with over 300 stores in Arizona. We're looking for help there too. So we'll go to the next slide. Currently, right now, directly what Will, who's also on the call with us here too, and I are looking for, I'm representing the East Valley, he is the West Valley. These are openings we have right now. And when I say right now, if you apply right now, you'll probably get a phone call within about an hour. We're looking for store management candidates, pharmacists, nurses, supervisors, associates. We also have a role called Care Concierge, which is part of our Health Hub format. Massively neat opportunity if you're comfortable in a salesperson setting, but you want to believe in your product. Our Care Concierges are our first step in a gap to medical products right in our stores. It's an amazing role. We'll train you how to sell a CPAP machine, how to bill for medical goods, and you actually get to change people's lives every day just by having conversations. It's a really fun opportunity we do, but this is the one I always like to bring up on the call. All of you that are out there looking for an opportunity that want to change your life and do something new. Obviously, we always encourage, let's go back to school. Let's go get some upskill and job skill. Well, as a pharmacy technician with CVS Health, if you come to the table with a training license issued by the State Board of Pharmacy, we will get you nationally certified. That's about a $4,000 education if you pay one of our local community colleges or resource groups to go to school for. Great, we love them. We recruit off those campuses. Or we'll treat you like an apprentice and you just come to work every day and we're going to pay you while we train you. And you will become a nationally certified technician. And the reason I always put it in my bio, if I can pass the national exam, I think they do a pretty good job. You will also too. So this is an outstanding footprint into medicine. I always have people think about it. And if everybody could put it in the comments here, I want somebody to come up with an idea in medicine that doesn't touch pharmacology. I mean, we always talk about how we want to help people and maybe I don't want to do pills and fine, that's understandable. But if you think about all the medicine that we touch every day, from mental health to just general upkeep, pharmacology is the basis of all of those industries, physical therapy, everything you can think of that's in medicine. And having a background as a pharmacy technician is just a wonderful way to get your foot in the door in other parts of our medicine thing and understanding, hey, maybe I'm going to be a physical therapist. Let's start you as a technician. Maybe I can identify, hey, what is someone that needs care or maybe is in my shop for other reasons. So it's an outstanding education. We pay very well for it. And we also think if you bring a hunger to learn, you will find a career that's got so many doors opens afterwards. A lot of our internal roles, those businesses we were just talking about with Aetna and Caremark and Optum, if you have a PTCB certification behind your name, we are going to internally promote you. We are going to get you into salary roles. You'll probably be my boss someday. That is how important it is to CVS Health to get you that opportunity to go. Store management's the same way. I started at age 20 in store management, guys. I never thought I was going to go into this. I was selling insurance and then I'm like, hey, let's try something else. And I never left the industry. I'm passionate about it because it's really easy to be passionate about in our business. There are hundreds of additional roles, and that's the last part of this bullet point right here in Arizona. Obviously, this is the brick and mortar things. This is where I primarily focus at. But if you have any background, any medical, any accounting, any law, bring your skills to the table, and we're going to upskill you to our business. SAP, SQL, we have a Scrum group at the Caremark. We have app development. Put your name on it. You could have 18 jobs with CVS Health, never leave our business, but have 18 different careers with us and retire with us and change your job and title on your hat every time. So next slide, please. It's subtle, but we were talking about the Health Hub concierge role right there. We would love to start you on your next career here today. The Care Concierge is our gap and our bridge into our new technology we're going into in the future here. This person is going to be a point of contact when you walk into the store. They're going to have full access to the insurance and metadata that comes from our Aetna, that comes from Caremark. And when you come in to get your basic services with our stores, you're going to have someone that can pull up your plan and say, oh, hey, we're going to get you an opportunity to meet with your cardiologist. It's been a year and a half. Let me book an appointment for you. Hey, looks like you just read your general physician. We're going to send your labs to your cardiologist so they can get an update review. Hey, I'd like to schedule a time with your pharmacist to go over some of your medications. It looks like your blood pressure with your technology and your smartwatch is telling us you're doing better. Maybe it's time to have a conversation about getting some medications off of your plan. This local contact is going to give you access to the metadata that is part of your insurance plan, that's part of your care and improved care. And this is such an amazing aspect for the care of our patients, but also for those of you that are running the business, you are employers out there. This is something that we're doing to bring the cost curve down for the cost of medicine down. Why do we need to spend so much money on things? Because we're not being adherent to our care. The Care Concierge is this wonderful gap. So we're really using this new technology. It's part of our innovation to move forward to be our center of health for everyone in America. 1 in 3 people touch our transactions every day. Next slide, please. So obviously I've said it now 4 times. The rule is 3, right? So I'm going to do 4. We have 1,800 plus job openings as of this Tuesday morning. That's when I looked it up. That's current postings. If you go to jobs.cvshealth.com and do a keyword search under the state of Arizona, it shows every role we have. If you have a background in anything, any job you've ever done before, do a keyword search. You'd be amazed what pops up. We do juvenile social work. We do mental health therapy. There's amazing little jobs that you didn't realize were even associated with CVS. And the cool thing about this platform, it links to all of our partners. That's Aetna, that's Caremark, that's Optum, that's Specialty. It gives you an opportunity to see that's everything that's available here at CVS. Now, there's this little thing that's on our website. I'm going to read this because I thought it was really passionate. It's right on the jobs.cvs.com. So I'm going to read this right here. CVS Health is the leading health solutions company that delivers care in ways no one else can. I agree. We help people navigate the healthcare system and their personal healthcare by improving access, lowering costs, and being a trusted partner for every meaningful moment of health. And we do it all with heart each and every day. We're an equal opportunity and affirmative action employer. We do not discriminate in recruiting, hiring, or promotion based on race, ethnicity, gender identity, age, disability, or protected veteran status. And we do mean that, guys. Non-traditional candidates are our favorite. If you have a full-time gig, but you want to try something small, come play with us. Example for my location, I'm open 7 to midnight. I'm sure there's a time during the week where I can give you 15 hours. We'll find a way to get you trained in the pharmacy. We'll get you some leadership competencies. We'll give you access to some amazing development. And we have a great benefits package. Full-time employees get health care day 1, got a great 401k. And we also provide quick tuition reimbursement up to $3,000 for full-timers on your first 90 days and part-timers after a year with us. And the neat thing about that is instead of us paying for school, we actually pay for the coursework that you pass and say, hey, awesome job, keep it up. Here's a check for all the costs of it. Do it again next year, and that'll be your whole entire career. So some really neat opportunities and scope. It's just getting our voice out there. We'd love to have you on board, and I can't wait to get into the breakout room to answer any questions. Thank you, Jessica.
Awesome, Roger. I know you could talk about CVS all day long. So there's so many in our conversations with Roger. There are so many growth possibilities at CVS and career pathways and training that they cover. And so that's a great organization. I encourage you to chat with Roger and his team at the breakout session. All right, so let me just close this out a couple more minutes and then we will move on. If you have any feedback for us, because we're in a virtual event, we can't take it right now, but we encourage you to email us. It's on the next slide. It tells you our email address is contact@careerconnectors.org. If you have any requests because you wanted to see an employer, a specific employer that you're trying to get into, or if you have a topic you'd like us to address, or you need some additional assistance, just email us and we will get you in touch with the right people, or we'll do our best to do something at our event for you. On the next slide, you'll see our corporate partners. These are some of our funding partners, some of our that provide some of the content for you here today, as well as some of the resources. So we so appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Now, on our next slide, I want you to see that we have some other resources for you. First of all, there is an event recap blog. So everything that was talked about today, we are capturing it. Julia Turan is actually our volunteer today, capturing this on a blog, and we'll have that posted in the next couple of days. So if you missed some of the stuff Justin said, or you want to review it, or some of the hiring companies, you need some links to some of the things we talked about today, that'll all be on our recap blog. We also recorded this. So this webinar will be posted on our website tomorrow. And so you can also go back that way and look. Now, we also provide a DISC assessment, which is a behavioral assessment. If you're interested, you can utilize this to incorporate some of the words onto your resume. You can also utilize it through things like there's a section called your ideal work environment. So that's a really great way for you to see, hey, am I targeting the right kind of things? And then our social media links are on the bottom. We would love to engage with you that way as well. So our upcoming events that we have, you will see Thursday, January 27th, we have Bridget McGowan, Show Out when you show up. And so we really hit the ground running strong this year with our keynote speakers, with Justin and then Bridget also. You guys do not miss. She's going to show you how to have confidence and really show up when you're interviewing, when you're networking, whether it be through virtual or face-to-face. So I encourage you to join us for that in 2 weeks. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield of Arizona, the Arizona Department of Health Services, and the Entrepreneur Source as our hiring companies right now. And I'm just looking because I think we booked, not February 10th is, we have another employer booked right now, ADP, it has TBD, but we usually have 3 to 4 employers at every event. Tuesday, February 1st, we're doing a virtual career event for employers in the city of Avondale. And so this would be around retail, hospitality, entertainment. And so if you or anyone you know might be interested in that, we have a link on our website. We'll have up to 20 employers, and we're utilizing a different platform, one called Brazen. And this is specific for those industries in Avondale. So we will have that event for you. And then February 10th, getting my career shift together. Travis Harden, another phenomenal career keynote speaker, and that will be on February 10th. All right, so now our next slide here is just our website. It shows you a couple different places you can go on our website. First of all, additional resources are under the job resources. Our disc is sitting in there and some other things. Event registration is where you'll see all of the events that we have coming up. And then the event recordings is where you'll get today's webinar. So most of you, if you registered for today's event, which it's likely you did if you're here, you will start getting an email from us once a week. It goes out Monday mornings, and it tells you about the events that are coming up. It also has some additional resources in there. All right, on our next slide, it tells you some of our volunteers that we have here today. Thank you so much. We really, outside of a couple staff that we have, we run on volunteers. So we have about 100 volunteers that serve. That includes our keynote speakers, our coaches. We have people on the backside like Julia and Aaron that are helping run the Zoom call, or the Brazen or the technology that we're running. And so thank you so much to everybody that's serving and is here today. And if you are interested in serving, you can always get us online. Back to our website, careerconnectors.org/volunteer is the place where you could submit for an application. We are going to be really beefing up our volunteer program because we have huge goals this year. And so if you would like to volunteer as part of our organization, please check us out there. All right. And as I mentioned, we are a 501c3. And so end of the year giving, many people gave. It cost us $42 per person to run this program. And so if you gave, thank you. It really helped us prepare and get ready for this year. And if you are interested in giving back once you land, then we would love to have you. On the next slide, you can see our website is careerconnectors.org/donate. We have some information there about the donations and how we utilize them. And so thank you again for that. All right, well, I am going to move us over into breakout rooms. But remember, you can continue to keep engaged with us, email us, or connect with us on LinkedIn. I also dropped my LinkedIn URL, and I would love to have you. Just know that we are praying for you guys, that you do land into the career of your dreams. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to move over into our breakout rooms. So here's who we have today. Justin has his keynote. He was the keynote today. He has a room. And then the Phoenix Suns, Elizabeth will be in her room. Giovanna will be in her room for MSR, FSR, and then Roger, and I think, Roger, you have a couple people with you at CVS Health, and so you can jump over there. And again, I encourage you to check out each room, especially the employers, and talk to them about their jobs. Maybe you saw one that might be a fit or you're not sure. Ask them. You just heard about their company, talk to them a little bit, build that rapport. And then we also have breakout rooms that have coaches. And so we have 2 resume writers, and guys, these are professional certified resume writers. We work with the Resume Writers Council of Arizona, and they bring in 1 or 2 resume writers to every one of our events. They have been doing this for 11 years, and they're phenomenal, the best of the best. And so they are going to give you the right resume advice, and they're going to help you understand how to get through the applicant tracking system, how to utilize keywords and accomplishments in the format. And so jump over into Jerry or Lori's room and they will talk to you about how to format your resume if you have those kind of questions. And then Kitty is here, Kitty Carlisle. She is a professional writer, and she knows how to make your LinkedIn profile phenomenal. And so she'll show you kind of the ins and outs if you have questions about how to have connections or how to write your profile or experience section, or if you're not getting connections or not being emailed, she'll help you understand all of that. So go to her room, meet with her. And then Gian Bodie is here. He has been also one of our longest volunteers for over 10 years. And Gian is the one that helps with any kind of financial questions you have. So whether you're trying to set up a budget, if you're in career transition and you're trying to apply for unemployment, whatever, Gian is a great resource for you. So I encourage you to check out with him. All right, so on the next slide, I think we have a quick little video, and it's going to show you how to enter into the breakout rooms. Is that video live, Erin? Can it be played?
Okay, when a host opens breakout rooms, allowing participants to choose which one to go in, down in your toolbar, you're going to see the breakout room icon pop up like this. And a little message says join a breakout room. That goes away in a second, but you can still click breakout rooms and it'll show you the list of available rooms. I just left it room 123 right now, but it will have the type of coaching available in each room. So let's say you want to go into room 1, you hover there and then move your mouse over to the right, and the number there will turn to the word join. Click join. It'll ask you, do you want to join room 1? Say yes. And it'll send you to room 1. Now, once you're in the room, you can see who's here by clicking participants at the bottom. You can chat with the people by typing. Obviously, you can also speak, unmute yourself and speak. And then when you're done in that room, you can click the blue Leave Room button. It'll give you 2 choices, Leave Meeting or Leave Breakout Room. Leave Meeting kicks you all the way out of the Zoom session. So you want to leave the breakout room. It'll send you back to the main session.
Okay, I think that's it. Now, something to note, some of you may not have the most current version of Zoom. In that case, a lot of times it doesn't give you the option to go back to the main room. You have to actually get out of the call and come back in. So just know if you don't have the latest version of Zoom, that might be an issue. And then also Kitty reminded us that you are muted by default when you go into a room. So when you go into a breakout room, you're muted by default. You will have to unmute. And if you want to do your video, unmute your video also to have those one-on-one conversations. Let's see. Also, before we do that, I just would like to ask any of you, and we're going to be doing a campaign for this year, that when you do land your next job, we would love your story. We would love to know that you landed. We would love to know that, you landed and you're happy with what you're doing, or you're landed and you're in a different career, or whatever it is. We would love to know that. So please email us or shoot it to us through LinkedIn, however you'd like to, but we love those stories. Okay, so employers first, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and where Erin, you can launch the breakout rooms now. So let's see. Awesome. Thank you. And then employers, if you could go ahead and jump over to your breakout rooms and speakers and coaches. Great. I think they're all there. Man, look how fast they were. And then, okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up the breakout rooms. You may go ahead and start joining your breakout rooms. If you have any problems, our team is right here, and you can just put into the chat where you want to go. And Julia and I and Joey will help you get there. So go ahead and go to the room you were interested in. And if you can't get there, just let us know and we will get you there. We will send you there. All right, looks like people are going. Very good. And I believe Aaron unmuted you all, or you have the capability to talk now. If you you can either talk to us or put in the chat if you are trying to go somewhere, and we will help you go there. So Tyler, Christy, Jerry Lynn, Connie, John, Eric, any of you have any questions? We're here to help. Good, the people are getting there. Great job, Aaron. Thank you so much.
Of course, it's always nice to be here, and I always learn something too. It's exciting.
Yeah, you're not allowed to leave Freedom Financial. Don't tell Linda, like, I got a great idea from Career Connectors.
We'll start freelancing.
Yeah. Let it be like, never talk to my people again.
We're losing everyone that comes out.
Yeah, seriously.
It's wonderful there.
I really, really love Linda. Linda and I have been friends for 10 years, I think. And so she's awesome.
Everyone that works there is amazing. It's
yeah.
They know how to pick people, that's for sure.
Yes, yes. Recruiters do a great job.
Erin, how long did you say you've been there?
Let's see, I started February of 19, so just a couple of years. Yeah, almost 3 years. Yep.
So before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, it was. I hadn't even, well, I just celebrated a year when we did the work from home thing. And so, yeah, it was crazy to watch that happen. But we did wonderful with it, which was pleasantly surprising.
So Tyler or Christy, do either of you need help jump into a breakout room? Just want to check in with you guys. You did.
And Erin, could you go back to one slide or two slides to the listing of the rooms, just in case when people jump back to the main room, they know what's there. Yep, perfect. Thank you.
Oh, it looks like Christy moved, and it looks like Tyler.
He might just be on. He just might have stepped away.
Yeah, sorry, I got called over for work.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
How do I jump into one of these? Where is it at again? Because
so
I'm
Tyler, look at the bottom of your screen. If you at the bottom of your screen see where it says breakout rooms.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you click on that, that'll let you, and you'll just click, it'll highlight, you hover over where you want to go where it says, and it'll say join, and you just click in there. And then when you want to leave, do the same thing. It'll say leave breakout room.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, you're so welcome.
Good luck.
Glad you're here today.
Bye.
Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Tyler's actually someone that I reached out